since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for three, rattles it around for her first deep shot.
Well, she's definitely taken that golden advice, recently being the first WNBA player that has recorded consecutive 20-plus point rebound games.
Has the WNBA ever experienced a growth spurt season as this current one? For a league that was created years after its male counterpart, WNBA didn't enjoy much audience, not to mention sold-out crowds. However, everything has changed this season, with more audience, sold-out crowds, and broadcast records getting shattered. All these changes are due to one thing: the rivalry between two WNBA amateurs, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. As with any rivalry, there's always one athlete who rises above the other, and in this case, Caitlin made it clear to Angel why she's the best. You're wrong if you think these two started their rivalry after they turned professional and signed for their various clubs. Clark and Angel have started this rivalry since their college days.
And athleticism that Maryland has put on her defensively have made life difficult. And a chance for Clark to get an old-fashioned.
The two youngsters face off for the first time in 2021, when they were both freshmen, and Reese still played for Maryland. Reese and the Terrapins got the better of Clark and the Hawkeyes twice in that first season, including in the Big Ten championship game. They only met once as sophomores, and again it was a win for Maryland, this time behind a dominant Reese performance where she scored 25 points and pulled down 13 rebounds. After her sophomore season, Reese transferred to LSU to play for Kim Mulkey, which meant no more conference games against Clark and Iowa. The two teams would meet again in the 2023 NCAA Women's National Championship game after both made somewhat unexpected runs through the tournament. However, the game itself turned out to be dull. After a closely contested start, LSU broke away with a dominant second quarter and never looked back in the second half. Caitlin Clark led all scorers with 30 points, but the Hawkeyes couldn't keep pace with the Tigers, who shot an impressive 64.7% from three-point range. Angel Reese contributed 15 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals, securing LSU's commanding victory.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position. That's all you can do is, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and,
The real drama unfolded in the final moments when Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark, pointing to her ring finger and doing the iconic John Cena "you can't see me" gesture right in Clark's face, mirroring a move Clark had made earlier in the tournament. Reese's message was clear: the championship ring was hers. While Reese's actions sparked a wave of controversy, Clark, who was the NCAA's all-time leading scorer in 2024, wasn't bothered by it. Despite that, their rivalry became a must-watch spectacle, especially when they faced off.
At the end of the day, it's a game that we do both love, but there is no hate. No hate. We're going to play on the same team one day, I'm sure. We're going to definitely play on the same team one day. So
maybe 2028.
2028. Yeah.
When the 2024 NCAA tournament bracket was revealed, all eyes immediately locked onto the fact that Iowa and LSU were set on a collision course for a rematch in the Elite Eight. Both teams survived a few close calls in the earlier rounds, ensuring they would meet again. Leading up to the game, Clark and Reese confirmed that there was no animosity between them, but that's not what the audience wanted to hear. The hype around their rivalry only grew, making their next matchup one of the most anticipated games of the tournament. The showdown became one of the most anticipated sporting events of the year and ended up drawing a stunning 12.3 million viewers, which was to that point the most watched women's basketball game ever. This time, the game lived up to the hype.
Clark trying to come back to it. Clark shakes Van Lith into the lane, gets fouled by Reese. And then Angel Reese takes a tumble afterwards. As Caitlin Clark is going to go to the line to shoot two, and oh no, oh my goodness.
Clark and Cohen jumped out to an early lead, but Reese soon took over and led a charge to put LSU in front. Everything changed, however, when Reese rolled her ankle early in the second quarter and briefly left the game. Though she eventually returned, she was not as effective the rest of the way, and the Hawkeyes took advantage. Clark went off for 41 points and 12 assists to punch a ticket back to the Final Four. That game proved to be the end of Reese's collegiate career, while Clark and the Hawkeyes would advance to the national championship game again before falling to South Carolina.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
The two met again when they went professional, with Clark being selected as the first overall pick of the 2024 WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever. As for Reese, she was picked by the Chicago Sky as the 7th overall pick during the same WNBA draft. And as you might expect, both of them hit the ground running in their rookie season. During her introductory press conference on April 17th, Clark specifically outlined that one of her goals in joining the Fever was to end their 7-year playoff drought, the longest in WNBA history. She played her first regular season game on May 14th, scoring 20 points in a 92-71 loss to the Connecticut Sun. She also committed 10 turnovers, the most in a debut in WNBA history. 10 days later, Clark posted her first double-double with 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists to help the Fever claim their first regular season win over the Los Angeles Sparks, 78-73. In a rematch with the Sparks on May 28th, she recorded a career-high 30 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds in an 88-82 loss. During the game, Clark became the fastest WNBA rookie to surpass 100 points and 50 assists, doing so in 8 games. These performances earned her the Rookie of the Month award for May, averaging 17.6 points, 6.6 assists, and 5.1 rebounds per game during that month. Reese also lost her first match in an 87-79 defeat against the Dallas Wings, despite having 12 points and 8 rebounds. Reese also lost her first match in an 87-79 defeat against the Dallas Wings, despite having 12 points and 8 rebounds. Reese also made a spectacular history of 7 consecutive double-doubles in June, the longest such streak by a WNBA rookie, after posting 16 points and 18 rebounds in an 83-72 win in a rematch against the Dallas Wing. You'll think Reese would stop at that since she'd rewrote history, but she went on to have 13 straight double-doubles, surpassing Candace Parker's of the Los Angeles Sparks for the longest single-season streak in WNBA history. Her efforts were also crowned with a Rookie of the Month award for June after Clark's. These two rookies have performed excellently against other opponents, but what happens when they face each other again, now at the professional level? What fans were waiting for came quickly as the two faced off in their second game of the season on Sunday. Inside the sold-out Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, the crowd had started to boo. The two WNBA rookies were facing off for the first time in their pro careers, and it had been a close, physical game. Press overspill section, which had been set up to accommodate more than double the usual number of members of the media present.
Shooting 38%. Caitlin Clark, another three-pointer! Underneath the basket, the Shields and Clark. And again, so much talk about Rookie of the Year. You know, it's hard. Here's Clark. For 29 points, gets tripped up.
Although Clark and the Indiana Fever fought hard to win 91-83 against Reese and the Chicago Sky, Post-game fanfare revolved around one moment in particular: Reese fouling Clark. In the third quarter of the neck-and-neck game, Reese struck Clark in the head as she tried to block her rival's layup with her arm, resulting in a foul. After a video review, officials upgraded Reese's foul to a flagrant 1, which means there was unnecessary contact against another player.
You play to the stats of your opponent.
The Sky Point game of the season.
Clark sank both of her free throws, cementing the Fever's win. Clark contributed 23 points overall, including 8 rebounds and 9 assists, while Reese finished out with 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. This game was a true test of resilience and determination for her, as she faced relentless defense and hard fouls throughout the match. Despite taking a brutal hit to the head and enduring provocations from opponents, Clark maintained her composure and delivered a stellar performance, solidifying her reputation as one of the rising stars in the WNBA. In her post-game interview, Clark reflected on her growing comfort level with her teammates in the professional competition. "I've had some good games and some that were definitely learning opportunities," she said, noting that her pursuit of consistency was starting to pay off, as evidenced by her recent performances. At first, Reese didn't make herself available to reporters after the loss, and she was fined $1,000 for that. She later defended her actions, insisting it was an unintentional basketball play. "The referees really affected the game tonight," Reese stated after the match. However, Clark chose not to dwell on the incident. This victory against the Sky marked the first time the Fever have won consecutive games this season, an important milestone. With this win, the Fever improved their record to 5-10 after a difficult start. Since the WNBA resumed after its Olympic break, Caitlin Clark has been on fire, averaging 24.6 points, 9.0 assists, 5.0 rebounds, and 1.0 steal per game. She's shooting a remarkable 50% from the field and 38.6% from beyond the arc. Her team, the Indiana Fever, has gone 6-1 during this stretch, boosting their overall record to 17-16. A team that finished at the bottom of the league last year has now secured a playoff spot and is in the race for the 5th seed. Clark has been performing at an elite level, arguably as a top 10 player in the league, maybe even top 5. While she isn't quite on the same level as Las Vegas's A'ja Wilson, the clear frontrunner for league MVP, the gap between them is much smaller than anyone would have predicted at the start of the season. Back in May, Clark was still adapting to the pro game, but now her rise has been nothing short of spectacular. You'd expect that by now, with Clark delivering stellar performance after performance, the debate over who should win Rookie of the Year would be settled. Early in the season, there was a discussion between Clark and Chicago's Angel Reese, but that seems to have faded. Since the Olympic break, Clark has transformed her game, putting herself well ahead of the competition. Still, there are some holdouts, from former players to media pundits and fans, who continue to argue for a co-Rookie of the Year title for Reese and Clark. While everyone's motivations are different, and the discussions this season have added intrigue to the WNBA, the basketball argument is less complex. In reality, the one impacted most by this debate isn't Clark, it's Angel Reese. Reese is surely having a phenomenal rookie season herself. She's averaging 13.3 points and a league-best 13.2 rebounds per game, making her an unstoppable force on the boards. Sure, there's been some stat padding to extend her streak of double-doubles, but her impact on Chicago is undeniable. The team is far better when she's on the court, and every franchise in the league would love to have a player with her rebounding ability and defensive presence. Reese's 434 rebounds this season are the most in WNBA history, for both rookies and veterans alike, and with 7 games left, she's poised to shatter even more records. In almost any other year with no one called Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese would be a clear choice for Rookie of the Year, and she deserves recognition for her impressive achievements. Unfortunately, she's caught in an unwinnable comparison because while her rebounding and defense have been outstanding, Caitlin Clark has outshined her as a more complete player. The reality is, very few can match what Clark brings to the game. Basketball is about more than just defense and rebounding, although those are critical aspects of the game. Everything on the court flows through Clark. Her passing, her aggressive playmaking, the way she draws double teams, and her ability to stretch defenses with deep three-pointers make her a unique and dynamic force. On top of that, she plays solid defense and rebounds well for a guard. In the NBA, no matter how dominant players like Ben Wallace or Dennis Rodman were, both Hall of Fame defenders and rebounders, no one would pick them over legends like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Michael Jordan. Their roles simply had a more profound impact on the game. If Reese can develop a consistent low-post scoring game, she'll certainly elevate her profile even further. But for now, Clark is doing everything at an elite level, and she keeps getting better. Every defense that faces Indiana is focused on Clark, yet no one has found a way to stop her. The Fever are becoming a team no one wants to meet in the playoffs, largely because Clark keeps raising the bar game after game. Committing a foul to exact revenge won't have this same impact Clark is now having over Reese. She focused on her game and has developed into a more complete player who is now being compared with an NBA legend instead of her fellow rookie. If you also think Clark isn't on the same level with Reese, let's know in the comments.